Right. Hello, everyone joining. Welcome. Happy Friday. Welcome to GreenSlate's Quick Take webinar. Today we're discussing time-saving features, and we are going to be sharing with you our latest rollouts and of some of our best new features. So we're so excited that you're here and that you are spending a little bit of your Friday with us. Um, I am Kimberly, and I am a part of the account relations team, and I will be the host and resident timekeeper today. So, um, what we want to do is just start off by giving everybody a little bit of time to join. So while people are joining, we'd love to get to know you a little bit. So if you want to put in the chat at the bottom of your screen, you could tell us your name, where you're joining from, and your role in the industry. If you feel like typing all three or some variation thereof works as well. So why don't we say where we're joining from? I'm in Washington State. How about you, Jenna and Kay?
I am in New Orleans, Louisiana.
And I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
So we cover a good portion of the country, right? So, and I see we've got Alexandria, who's a payroll assistant. Oh, Erin's from North Dakota. Nice. We've got some Los Angeles, Kentucky, another a production controller from Los Angeles, production accountant. Excellent. Welcome, everybody. For those of you just joining, we're just giving people a minute to join. We will get started here very shortly. Knoxville and Maryland. Excellent. Another Knoxville. Two people from Knoxville. You guys should if you don't know each other. Anyway, sometimes my brain. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, welcome everybody to GreenSlate's Quick Take webinar. Happy Friday. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with us. This Quick Take webinar is our time-saving features. And again, I'm Kimberly. I work in the Account and Relations department. And I'm, again, happy you're here today. So real quick before we get started, just a couple of our little reminders. We would absolutely love exactly what you're doing in that chat here for any comments that you have throughout the webinar. You will also see at the bottom of your screen a little button with a question mark. If you have questions, please put them there. It just allows us, if you put them there versus the chat, it allows us to make sure we follow up with you if we don't get to all of the questions before the end of the webinar, which if we don't get to them all, we will absolutely, you'll get an email from us with an answer to your question. So we want to make sure to be able to do that. And we will, as you noticed when you joined, we are recording the webinar. So we will be sending you an email of the recording. You can look for that in inboxes next week. So with that, we are going to get started, and I'm going to pass it over to Jenna and Kay. Why don't you guys start by introducing yourselves?
Hi, everybody. My name is Jenna Kaye. Thank you for joining us. I'm the head of training here at GreenSlate. I'm also a former production accountant. I started production accounting in 2009 and did locations in Los Angeles before that. So I've seen a few things in the industry. I've been with GreenSlate for about 2 years. As I said, I am the head of the training department over here at GreenSlate. And I will introduce you over to Kay.
Hey, I'm Cady, and I have been in the field for about 40 years and got introduced to GreenSlate about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. And I have been waiting for a program like this. So now so close to my retirement, but I am so glad it's here. It's making my job way easier. So I am glad you're all here. Thanks for joining us.
All right. So I'm going to just about the agenda for today. I'm give brief overview of GreenSlate very briefly. And then we're going to talk about our custom grid views with our new next approver tab, our new multi-page bulk actions, show you the highlights of our new cost report module, and the amazing tax credit system that we have and how it's working in Georgia specifically with their new requirements. All right, and with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And oops, sorry, I need to move this first. I apologize. There we go. Of course, you always think you have it perfectly set up until you go. Is it showing my screen?
Mm-mm.
No.
I don't know why it's not taking over. I did everything we did before, Kimberly.
Okay.
I'm sharing exactly the exact same way. I don't know what's different.
Okay,
There we
now
go.
it's there,
Now we
Jenna.
got it.
Okay. That's weird. All right. I don't know what
Okay.
happened. All right. There we go. Here we go.
Good.
Welcome everybody. Here's GreenSlate real briefly. We are all in one and all digital. And I cannot stress enough the true meaning of all in one, from payroll to residuals to audits to IRS audits and everything in between. You are logging into us and us only. And a few little highlights about us. Our customer service is what is us sets us beyond belief. That didn't come out right, but customer service with us, you will never have to wait 24, 48 hours to get help. Sometimes the help is too much, but it is always there for you. And it is even there if people are working, we will get you after hours. We are all in one. So we are also your digital file tree. So all of your documents live within GreenSlate as well. We are also everything is under permission. So everybody is working in our system, but you only see what you have access to. For example, I have access to everything, so I see everything. If I were just Joe Grip on my project, I would probably just see start work and time cards. Beyond that, there's classes we can take and I can do further dives, but let's dive into what we are getting into with today's webinar of our time-saving features. And let's talk about the first one, which is our custom grid views. So I'm going to jump over to my purchase orders here. We give you a default grid. We also give you a bunch of other tabs. And the one I'm highlighting right now is the updates to our next approvers tab. And the reason we're highlighting this is because it adds this extra layer to it. Within our approval flow, if I click this real quickly, you'll see this is my custom approval flow set up for my specific project. Whatever yours needs to be, yours would be. But what I want to point out right here, number 5 key goes to number 5 key, second there, second there. So within our system, because the approval flows are customizable, there are ways that you could be a backup approver on something. Or for example, as a key, you will always be an I-9 approver, but you don't have to approve every I-9. So I call it the could versus should. And what's new and awesome is now we have this next approvers and next step, our could versus should. Who should sign it? What step is it on? That's my next step. It's on step number 5, waiting for the key. Who could sign it? One of many people, many because we're in a demo and all of my students have the same permissions. But if you were on your project, that might have somebody from the studio, that might have your lead, and it might have the person that is supposed to sign it. So we have the ability to see it. If it is specific by person, then you have the ability to act that way. So I love the fact that I can go back and forth. We still have the ability to do our custom grid views. I'll show you what mine is. You'll see you won't have Jenna on yours. You can create your own. But what that does is it gives me exactly what I need to do for the way I do my job. You'll see I have next step, which is that that column I just referred to. Because for me, I had lots of backup approvers. So I preferred next step. So I'm able to clean it up. I also have the ability to save custom tabs for how I do my job. I have a vendor I like to track. So I am looking for all the POs for my vendor, We Grip 'em. I have a tab set up specifically for that, and I can create those. All of these can be made customizable, and all of the tabs stay with you, which is amazing. So if you are on multiple shows, if I were to jump back and forth from my show to another show, all of these tabs I've created and set up for myself would be there. And if I were to wrap a show and then my next show gets started 2 weeks later and I come back, all of my custom tabs will be there. For me, I know it made such an immense difference in how long it took me to do my job, just for the sake that I wasn't looking through data that didn't matter to me. And those nanoseconds I know on the AP side added up significantly for me. For you, Kay, did that work? How did those work for you?
Yeah, so the next step is I'm going to share my screen now. But next step for me is much cleaner, like for payroll purposes. I created also a tab, and with my tab, I can change it. At first, I would just use next approver, but I might have 3 people here, and I might be one of those people on that step. like Jenna was talking about, I am number 3 because I know that I'm the third one. So the next step is actually saying, hey, girl, that's you because you're number 3. I'm the last one on my step, and my step has been set up to have 3 approvals steps. Now, it could have more, but maybe I'm also on the department head because God, what if something happens and they want to make sure that I can push those time cards through? This might say 2. And that would mean that it's the department head. And so yes, I can approve, but I shouldn't approve. I'll wait to see if he approves. So I may have something that says review, but it is not for me yet until it says my number, which is 3. When I've approved these and they jump over to the grossing side, where I love the next step, which is so helpful for me, is to help organize my accountant and my UPM, because I might be the first step, my UPM might be the second, my accountant the third. Let's say that's the scenario. I know that this review here is mine. This one has no number. I am the person that's got to do this review. But these reviews, I might be on that step, but I am not to approve. But at the end of maybe Monday, I could hit sort. I just hit this button to sort it, and I could see how many 2s and how many 3s I have and what departments they need. And I literally could say, hey, and to my UPM, hey, you still have grips and set decks. So filter for those and get those done for me. Like, I can help keep them even organized if they're not looking at their numbers. Though most of the time when I set up their little views, which I do help them with, I will set up the next step because I want them to see it. So that's kind of what I use it for, Jen. I just think it's a game changer. And I love that once I set up a grid, I can change it. I can tweak it all day long and save it again, but it follows me from show to show. I do not have to keep creating this. And I love that part. So yeah, so that is our next step. And we move on.
I just want to throw in there, as well as you were saying, what I also love, and I've seen it because I've had the pleasure of working with people who have worked with us several times. They do a specific task on their job because the way their UPM wants it. So they have a tab set up for that. And then they start their next job with another UPM who wants things a little differently. And you can change those tabs for how you need them. And you can keep your old tab for when you work with that UPM again, and you can keep your new tab as well and just hide those as you need them. You only need to show the ones you want to show. If I don't use these, I can get them off my screen and clean up my screen with them.
Right.
Well.
They all live here in this little view. So I can always pin whatever I need to pin. That's great, Jenna. I was going to move us on to multi-page bulk download. So I really wanted to show in the start forms. So it would be as if I went to start forms here. I opened it in a separate tab, which I love the fact that I can open up tabs. I love that. But here's what I did. I created a view because sometimes what happens in our downloads is that the union or the studio wants the start forms. So what I did is I created a little view, which has the union. Now I have several unions. I have a 492, 479, and I have a 161 down here. So I'm just going to filter for those 479s. And I will tab, and here they are. And I'm just crazy about doing stuff like this. So I will hit my last name. So I have them in alpha order. And I might filter for my completed ones because they should all be complete at the time. That's usually at the end of the show. So, well, this is a sandbox. So let me just show it as they are all completed. And at the end of the show, we're able to do this. Looks like I have 75 items. With the 75 items, I could easily click here, go to the next page. I'm just going to go to the next page. I'm going to click those. I'm just going to go to the next page, click those. I can go to the next page. I can do it all the ones I need. There they all are. And then I action download. There they are. Download start forms, 75 of them. I'm going to go ahead. It's going to go to a place called My Downloads. I can click in there and find it. Here it is now preparing it. I have since downloaded this before, so for time's sake, here's what it looks like when it comes out. I have everybody, I can have, these are called naming conventions, and you can specialize them any way you want. So they will, this is not client facing, so GreenSlate will do it for you. You could have it last name, first name, and then Snug Harbor, but you can also just have it this way. You can choose your order. And now I can just download all of these. They are downloaded. This is on my computer. And now I can upload them to wherever I need to. So that is the ease of that. I don't know if you have ever had to like just download the one page that you have and then go back to page 2 and download that page. Like, but no, I can actually click through all my pages. And I'm sure you have stuff on your side as well, Jenna, that shows you, I mean, that you need this feature, right?
Absolutely. I will jump over and share my screen now. Let's go ahead and do that. There we go. Perfect. So with the bulk going across the board. So if we were talking about, I want to show you our checks module, which one of my favorites, and it's right here. Oop, it is not. Let me go up here and get my checks module right here. So my checks module, because we are all in one and all digital, this is actually my AP file drawer. This is every check pack and check copy that I have for all of my vendors, for everything that we've seen. So when at the end, if we need to turn in a file tree, we have access to everything here. If we need, when we get our auditors, how we need to audit, we have access here. So for example, we get from our auditor, we have these 7 checks we need. Here's this one, here's this one. Up on another page, it's this one and this one. That's 5. And it's this one and this one. And you'll see when I go up to actions, it's going to download just those 7. So I have the ability now with the new release to go across multi-pages, as Kay was saying in payroll, and so you can get everybody all at once, which is fantastic. But this way you can also do it with the like hunt and peck, or pick and choose which exactly ones you need without having to remember it was 2 and I did this download and 2 and I did this download. They're all going to be there for you. Additionally, as she was showing you before, if I go back to my previous page, let me go back to page 1, and I want to grab everything, you'll watch right there. You'll see my actions. It's now I have 25. I have the 5 I did on those other 2 pages, and now the 20 I did here. One of the other things I absolutely love with the bulk is how we can bulk edit. So I'm going to jump over to my check requests, for example, and show you real quickly how we can make bulk changes within our system, which make our life so much easier. Within details up at the top, we have the ability now to see our GL. So we have every line of every bill I have in this system. And let's say I just learned that my vendor Ash Flowers is not qualifiable. So, and we have been qualifying them. I can choose everything. I can hit edit and I can go over and I can hit all of those tax credits can go and not qualified. And I can do that all in bulk, all across my GL at any point in time. And anything within a box is editable. So as you can see by looking here, I can make lots of changes to lots of things depending on where they are in my system, which is such a time saver. And keeps my ledger so much cleaner. Go ahead, Kay.
Yeah, I just wanted to, it just made me think of something. Somebody was asking me about downloading payroll, weekending payroll, like, because they have to put everybody's time card up into like Dropbox, because that's sometimes what the studio wants. And we were just working through that today, and I was showing them how you can just drop it, like all of it, download it and pluck it up there. And you could do it by last name. You put it on your desktop, it sorts and just plop in everybody's names. Like, it's really a wonderful tool, this bulk downloading.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And talking about this bulk editing,
Yeah.
oftentimes we find our bulk editings when we are looking at our cost reports. So I'm going to take this opportunity to jump over to my cost report, our new and improved cost report right here. I'm going to go ahead and pin that. I thought I did that earlier. It is so new that it is not staying pinned for some reason. There we go. So our new cost report. What I love that's new about this, everything's new and upgraded. If you were working on cost report 2.0, you will be migrated, and everything's going to be migrated to cost report, which is going to be all of the enhancements all in one, and everybody will be getting to there as we release it. The and the new version, the new one has basically all of the upgrades and all the enhancements. The major enhancements that I love are the math columns for me. They are what I call the plus minus columns. For example, you are given an email from your lead or from your studio that says that you have to add $5,000 to one line, and we're capping another line at a certain cost. So two different ways for me to go to approach my cost report. In the past, that's required me to have an Excel spreadsheet open and or do math on my on my 10 key next to me, but I have to do math because one of those requires me to do math. What I love is now I don't have to do that. So how do we do that? We put our effective date in. Absolutely love our effective dates. That everything is run by effective dates. So you can make changes as you need to. So I'm going to put my effective date today. I'm going to put edit just like I did earlier. And again, anything in a box I can change. So per my email from Scott, I am adding $5,000 to Tonti, but we're capping Sloan at 150. So two different ways for me to approach my cost report. And now I'm able to do it at once. I'm also, oops, I forgot to add my reason. So I can just go up to that line and tab on over, and then I can put per Scott's email. I'm not in caps, forgive me. And then I need to put it in the next line as well. And as you can see, I even tabbed too far, and I can just tab my way around this cost report really easily to get where I need to go. And then I can keep making changes. And you're going to see it's going to highlight anything I've had to change with that caret. So I can always go back and see where stuff was. And it also gives me my was, which is fantastic. Another little note, undo changes are going to undo change by change by change. So if I go ahead and hit submit, all my changes are done. I hit submit, and then I was so good at my job that I did this. And while I was doing this, I get another email from the studio that says, "Oh wait, never mind, we're not doing that." Ooh, I just submitted that cost report change. That could be a problem. Actually not. I can go right back in and I can kind of do another cost report with that same effective date. And when I hit submit, the system's going to make them accumulative. So if I do another one, I can essentially undo everything I just did in that second one so it zeroes out. And then I'm back to zero. I don't have to reach out to tech support. I don't have to unpost something. I can just balance it out. Essentially, I have the ability to cost report every day as changes come in. And then Friday, my work is ready for me and waiting. And it is such a time saver to be able to do that. I also love the fact that I have my ribbon up at the top, which shows me exactly what I'm cost reporting and those changes as they did. And I just hit cancel, and I shouldn't have. I will fix that in 1 second. But what I want to show is this is my whole budget. And let's say I only want a cost report for set deck right now. Very quickly, I was able to sort just by my set deck code. And you see my ribbon changed. If I wanted to make changes just in this, I could. If I needed to add 5,000 here, and let's just say I'm going to cap this at 20, you'll see my variance changes right there. So does my budget. All of my lines are changing in real time, so I can track every step of what I've done, which is just fantastic. On anything to add on that, Kay?
No, I love that. I mean, we used to have to use our calculators. Now we're like,
I know I love the fact that I can approach my cost report from both angles because we are forced to approach our cost report from both angles. And I love that I can track every step, and as I can also undo step by step. Undo changes does not undo them all. It undoes one by one by one, which is really helpful when you realize I made a mistake 3 steps ago.
yeah. And I love the ribbon. I mean,
yeah.
the
And
effective
one of the
date,
other,
yeah.
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 One of the other things I love from here is the fact that I can go in and I can do research and see what's in a line just by clicking into it. And from that line, I can make changes. So if I wanted to see what's in this line, I absolutely can. And I can see that this line, oh, this shouldn't be here. I can actually open that up and I could go ahead and move that if I needed to. And while I'm looking at this, I can see that this is an NQ, which brings up, ooh, tax credits. That shouldn't be a tax credit, I don't think. So let's talk about our tax credits, and let's take this as a moment that we can segue over to talk about our tax credits. I absolutely love this thing called tax credit summary. I'm like a little kid with it. I think it's just the coolest thing ever. Just because tracking tax credits mid-show is a bear. It's a beast. It's an Excel spreadsheet. It's something else I have to create and do on the side. It's so much work for me. And it's really hard to get those numbers in real time without running report after report. Within GreenSlate, because it's all linked, and because we have, as I said, Michelle Miller, our fantastic tax credit department, they know absolutely every nuanced detail of all the tax credits, and they know what the auditors want. So they can set you guys up as the users so that you can flag and tag appropriately, and then you can track it. How do you track it? You come to your tax credit summaries. You click the one you're doing. If you have multiple, they would be there. And what this is a snapshot of real time of where I am in my tax credits. So right now in GL, in purchases in 10240, I have $10,000. In my entire costs, I have $10,000. So all of that is coded to Georgia labor. So we're good. We're cleared out on that one. I can see what's in all of these. I also have the ability, you can see here, this unassigned. I have a whole tab that I can go to just my unassigned. Now you're going to see I only have 6 unassigned. That's because we have an ability when we are creating vendors to use this amazing default, and we can default all of our vendors. So the fact that I only have 6 in the middle or at any point in my show is fantastic. And I can do that with using those defaults. But now I can come in here and click that. I can see what those 3 are, and I can change those from right here. If they were in there, there's something weird with that line. I will go into this one. There's something weird with that line. There we go. And if I needed to change this, I could absolutely change this by hitting the edit button and making those changes if I needed to. I can go in there and edit it as needed as well. So I can go in there from there and change all of those. Which leads me to, this is Georgia. Georgia has some new requirements, and Georgia has this new GER form that they're requiring us all to do. It's another beast and another bear of a tax audit form that we have to do. But we have the ability now, which I absolutely love, to help you with that. So I've run mine already today. I'm going to open it up and show you what it looks like. Here is that GER that George is requiring. It's filled out here. And as I scroll down, you'll see it's populated with the codes from my system. So it's going to bring them all up. So if I have a clean ledger, I will have a clean GER. Now I have a demo that I have students in, so I don't think my numbers are real. Just like I don't think I have $9 million in locations, but that's what somebody paid for something. So, but you can see all of the numbers populate from here. I can tell you from my own experience in other states, filling out those forms what they are, but this new form is its own beast. I know Kay has had experience with that, so I'm going to let her speak to that far more than I can.
Yeah, I actually love an audit. I'm kind of weird that way. But I do. The GER, we call it grrr. So so it makes us kind of growl. But because we used to have to do it by hand, and we'd have to run all these reports and fill it all out. And now it just auto populates based on what we have spent in those categories, mapping it. So on the payroll side, though, you want to get in and start mapping right away when you're paying. So we have this thing called start work default coding, and you can set these up. And again, we don't leave you to your own, because like she said, Michelle gives you all the codes that you're going to need and what is considered a incentive and what's not incentivized. So you will know, and then you can fill these out. Let me show you how they look. So I've come into a start paperwork that I am sending out to Toby Mack. He's a grip. He's a best boy grip. He's making this money. Down here, we get down to this account coding. This is a template the employee never sees, but on our side, when we're onboarding, we see this. And so right here, I get to make some choices. I've built these templates out so that these tax codes, if you see, this is my tax code under details. My tax code shows up right here, and I want all this populated. I want it populated regardless if this guy gets a cell phone or a meal allow or mileage. I just put it on there on every single template because maybe he's going to turn in a mileage form and this is the account. Maybe I don't have one account for it, but because this budget did, all the mileages, it's not going in 50, 80. It should be going in 147, 44. But anyway, but that is already coded. And then when I do ask for mileage, it pulls from here. And now it allows that time card to have all this information already on there. So what I will do is usually you can see there's a star, and I usually pick that one based on the fact that that is the one that I'm going to have usually a lot of local union hires. So that one's going to default in my system. I have a distant union. I have maybe California, maybe they're doing post in California and they are going to put in for the qualifying for that. So for post, I'm going to build out some templates for my non-union and my union for that. And that makes it easier that when I come in here and I go, okay, this guy is a local non-union, and then all I have to do is assign his account. Let's say I don't know the chart of accounts yet, but I know he's a best boy and I know 116 is my grip. So here we go. Maybe his box. It's very simple to do stuff in the system. I'm just going to write, oh, I didn't even spell box fully. And there we go. There's the box. So it's this is just such a great thing. Make sure that you get your template set up so you're prepared in a tax incentive state, that you know what qualifies, what doesn't. Our payroll handling fees do not qualify. Your state fed for your California will be your federal taxes for your payroll be an NQ in California. Like, you will be guided on what those things are, and then set your templates up. And it makes life so much easier, capturing all your costs in the proper way. So I know you probably have a lot of questions. I'm going to let Kimberly take over for us at this point. And we are so glad you guys came. I hope you got a lot out of this.
It sounds like such a smart idea to have what you were talking about, Kay, and I know we've heard people talk about that in the past, but that the setup in GreenSlate is so important, to take that time and get stuff set up, because then you are setting yourself up for success in your show and everything you guys talked about today, and making it easier for yourself down the road. So
yeah,
thank you both.
It's little nuanced things. As you're saying that, I'm looking up at my screen on accounting reports. On accounting reports, I even set up a custom tab because the all tab that GreenSlate gives me doesn't give me who ran it. That's something that's important to me and how I do my job. So even just that one little nuanced detail of, I want to know who ran it, I can create a custom tab that's going to give me that every time. The amount of time that saves on the back end when you add it all up is just amazing.
It really is. It really is. And we've added that up. I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head to give everybody, but we have added it up, and it really does make a difference. So
I had a fun case study of figuring all those out, all those times, nanoseconds out.
I heard about that.
All right. Jenna and Kay's contact information is on the screen. What I want to say is this QR code, which you'll see here. This is a great time to put any questions you have in the Q&A. We do have quite a few already, so we'll start to those. But the QR code is going to take you to our pro training page. And Jenna and Kay run our training department and teach the classes. And so if you want to dig in more, because we know this is quick, that we did this as a quick take intentionally, just so we're not taking up too much of your time on a Friday. But if you want to dig in more, I highly recommend our pro training classes, because they are taught by Jenna and Kay. And as you can tell, they're industry veterans. They have a wealth of knowledge and experience, and they can teach you, even if you've used GreenSlate before, they can teach you some of those tips and tricks and things that are just going to help your days. And who doesn't want that? So
Yeah.
All right. Just to go to a couple questions we had pre-submitted. So I know, Jenna, you were talking about the cost report and that effective date. Somebody wanted to know how that's different from a close date.
So in other systems, everything's pretty much run on your period, whether you're in your current period, your future period. With us, you can close or not close. You can protect a period or not protect a period. You can not close, but still run your reports by effective date. So we run everything by effective date. So the beauty of that is I have a purchase order that I need everybody to approve now, and I want it in my system, but we're not ready to have that conversation with our studio yet, and I don't want that to hit my cost report for 2 weeks. I have the ability to manage that within the system without having to close a period. So that's how it sort of differentiates between ours and theirs. But you can basically run your entire show without having to close a period and still run effective reports by using effective dates.
Excellent. Okay, the next question that was pre-submitted, does GreenSlate have an incentives team? I know we mentioned this, but
Yes, Michelle Miller, she's fantastic. She's brilliant. Her whole team, just yes.
yes.
Any question you have, they know. I mean, that's their entire job, is to be on top of all of them, and not only on top of understanding them, but also talking to the auditors and knowing what the auditors want and how the auditors want it, and coming back and reporting that, and then we tweak the system and our reports so that the auditors get what they want. So we're doing a lot of that legwork for you, or they're doing that legwork for you as well.
I know, Jenna, that we kind of have our own account numbers, and then the COA mapping can happen for the incentive because that's what the state wants. So they'll literally take our chart of accounts that we're working with, part of our budget, and switch them into the accounts the state wants, which is pretty cool.
Can't beat
It's
that.
amazing.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. And I can answer this next question. If I've already taken one training class, can I take another? And the answer is absolutely yes. You absolutely
Please
can.
do.
I know. Yeah. We encourage it. So take it as many times as you want, as many classes you want. We do have prerequisites for the classes, so just make sure you meet those. And while I'm answering a question, somebody else asked if we were going to send an AI summary of what was discussed or recording. And yes, we are recording, and you can look for the recording to come in your inbox probably about midweek next week. And I think there was one other question I wanted to touch on here really quick. Oh, yes. Okay. Somebody was very astute in noticing that we had, I think it was Kay, when you were demonstrating, that we had 75 and
yeah.
we didn't have to, we could have changed the screen to 100 and just grabbed everything from one. Great noticing that we could have done that. Absolutely. We're working in a sandbox today. And so we don't have as many transactions as you will when you're working on a true show. So we did it that way so that we could show you how the multi-page works with our limited number of transactions in that sandbox. So, but I think it was Lisa who put that in there, that we could, yes, you're absolutely right. And you will want to, when you're working on a show, you'll have so many more transactions that you'll want to move it to 100 and then do that multi-page bulk action there. So,
Yep.
so those two I wanted to touch on really quick. Then we have a question that somebody wants to know, is there a specific browser required to use the GreenSlate platform? This person is on Mac and uses Safari and sometimes Firefox.
Chrome. You are welcome to use whatever browser you want to use. However, if you call us for tech support, the first question they're going to ask you is, are you on Chrome? And if the answer is no, they're going to ask you to switch over. And I will also tell you, about 75% of the time when you switch over, whatever you are calling for will have resolved itself. So just start out in Chrome.
Good advice. Good advice. All right, next question. We had a couple different questions about the custom grids, what we call them, custom grids. So the first one was, with the custom layout of columns and tabs is tied to your login name, not the specific show.
Nope. So for example, let's say I was a in production. I had access to a bunch of shows. These are all the shows I have access to. So right here, you see I have a custom tab, Jenna. If I switch to a different project.
We can't see your screen. You can
Oh, you
start
can't see
sharing
my
again if
screen.
you
Oh,
want.
that's right. I can screen share real quick. I forgot.
No,
Sorry.
you're good.
I'm so used in my trainings to having on my custom screen. So now you can see so here I am. Let me go back to Snug. There we are in Snug. There's my custom screen of Jenna for my accounting reports with my run by user. And if I switch to another project, my custom tab of Jenna run by user is still there. It follows me. If you do happen to, let's say, you have your own email and then you work on a Netflix show and they make you use their email for that show, we can merge your users. And then when you are done with that Netflix show and you go back to wherever you were before, and we can merge you out of that and just keep you as you forever how you need it to be. And we can merge and unmerge you along the way.
Yeah, perfect. I'm not going to take over sharing because I'm wondering if you're going to want to share with this one. But the next question was that if you've set up one of our custom grids and then you forgot to add something, can you edit the tab or do you have to restart over and repin?
No. So if let's say we're on my my dummy, or we can just go to the Jenna one, and I've decided on this project, I do need to track my my attachments. I don't have my second on this show. It's a very small show. So I need my attachments column. You can see I just added it right there. All I need to do is create another view. Jenna, I can even make it green again, just to confuse myself because life isn't confusing enough. But I have that green one and I can make that new green one. I just did right down here and pin that bad boy. And there you can see there's my attachments column right there. And I can have that one. And then on my next show, I don't want attachments. So I can get rid of that, Jenna, and go back to one of the other ones I've used. So I can control all of those. And as you see, they all live there. All the ones I make until I manually delete them, they live there and stay with me. So you can hoard as many tabs as you'd like.
I love the idea of being a tab hoarder because that seems like just organization upon organization. Like, yes, I want all of the tabs. Okay, our next question is, can you copy crew? For example, hire a company of grips with the same start date, union, and labor account code.
Okay.
Well, we are developing that. I do know that we're going to start rolling out for our starts to be like, let's say you have 6 grips, they're all at the same rate, different start dates, and we can send out those deals. But having said that, in the meantime, I find this invitational way that I'm doing my job right now, it's not crazy because I'm not logging out of this system and into another one and then logging back into this one and then going, oh my gosh, I got to go check out that and see what's happening over there. I can also do a lot of things with one person's deal. I can duplicate their deal. I can deactivate certain deals. I can give them a raise on a certain date. I mean, like there's a lot of freedom of what I'm working with now. But yes, that is coming out. And we do a batch create time cards right now. So you can, for the entire grip department, the best boy could just make all the time cards at one time, copying even the hours from the week before and any additional earnings. And then just tweaking their times for their day and then submitting at the end of the week. So there is a lot of pluses, but yes, we are working on that. We have that on our sites.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Kay. Okay, we are almost at time. I have one more question that I was thinking you guys could answer, and then there's a couple more that we will follow up with you guys after the webinar, just because we're almost out of time there. So the last question we'll take here is, for bulk downloads, can you set the naming convention for the files, or is it standard set by GreenSlate? Are we able to customize the naming conventions?
Jen or me or you? I mean, I'd be glad to.
Yes, you can. I think the easiest way to answer that question is say the list of things you can't customize on GreenSlate is shorter than the list of things you can. You can pretty much customize anything but your layout of your entry screen for the most part, as far as your view, and naming conventions, absolutely. Whatever you need, we can get you and just tell us in the beginning, and even in the middle, we can change it if we need to. I don't know if we can go back. I don't know that one, but
if you change it in the middle, it'll just change all the files that you download. It'll be in that
love
new
it.
way. So
There
for
we go.
the
Yeah.
So if you go with our default and then you happen to download it and you're like, wait a minute, that's not what we need it to say, then and it's for everything, POs, for AP, for, any report, like everything, it's in there.
Everything.
And so yes, you can customize it. You just let them know what you want, especially to make it easier for you if you're being required to download in bulk and upload. It's kind of nice to have last name first, because the PDF will just sort them all in order, in alpha order, and then you can just drop them in their boxes where they go. So
Yep.
yes,
It's so simple. And we do have the naming conventions that studios require. We have those, and we can easily add those to any project as well. So those things are there too. So, all right, we are.
And if it's a studio we've worked with, I was gonna say, and if it's a studio we've worked with, we're already gonna put that naming convention in place. If it's a Netflix, we know what they want, unless it's a new studio. So we're always gonna default to what that studio wants. Typically.
Absolutely. Well,
Sorry,
we
go ahead.
are 1 minute over time, which I thank everybody for being patient with us, because we went so far over. No, I'm teasing. But anyway, we thank everybody so much for joining us today, spending a little bit of time on your Friday. We look forward to seeing you at the next Take webinar. So I hope everybody has a fantastic Friday. All right.
Thank y'all very much.
Bye.